Christian historian Marshall Foster, the author of The American Covenant, The Untold Story, and the founder of the World History Institute, died of pancreatic cancer a week ago today. Appearing on Kirk Cameron's TV show Takeaways, he described our need as a country to repent of our sin, just like the church of Ephesus described in Revelation 2.
Jesus said in Revelation 2 to the most successful church in the New Testament, to the church at Ephesus, they had all the money, power. They had the Apostle Paul be the pastor of their church for 3 years. They were the hot place to be. And yet the Ephesus church had fallen away. And Jesus said, you have lost your first love. And what did he say? He said, this is what you need to do. Remember from whence thou hast fallen. Repent and do the deeds you did at first.
Dr. Foster described the revival, a great awakening that grew out of the gospel preaching of George Whitefield. The key is for all of us to draw close to Christ and share the good news.
If I will do my part, be faithful in the little things, and do what God's called me to do, and then reach out to my neighbors, and then reach out to others, it explodes. Revivals and awakenings just take off. George Whitefield started with nothing down in a little orphanage down in Georgia, and within a few weeks they said, can you preach? He began to preach up the coast. Within the next 20 or 30 years, as a result of 7 little trips, half of the South was converted to Christ, and 1/3 of the North came to know Christ. The people's hearts were warmed when this one man and then the other faithful pastors, the minority of the pastors who got right with God, they began to preach the gospel, and people said, yes, I want to do it God's way. That resulted in them being willing to have people like Patrick Henry, who were saved in the awakening, Samuel Adams, George Washington. These great men rose up out of that awakening and became the leaders of the American Revolution.
The celebration of the life of Dr. Foster is scheduled for this Sunday, July 31st at 1:30 p.m. at Williamson Memorial Funeral Home in Franklin, Tennessee. In describing God's providential hand on America's founding, William Bradford, the former governor of Massachusetts and the author of the book of Plymouth Plantation, wrote, quote, thus out of small beginnings, greater things have been produced by God's hand that made all things of nothing, and gives being to all things that are. And as one small candle may light 1,000, so the light here kindled hath shone unto many. End quote. Romans 14 verse 8 says, if we live for the Lord, and if we die for the Lord. So, whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord.